let's talk about total return and time segmentation. What does it mean when someone falls into the total return quadrant?
When someone falls into the total return quadrant, what they've done is they've scored high on two factors. The first one being they're more probability based. If they're comfortable with that assumption, then they naturally feel that they can distribute assets from their portfolio because over time the markets will go up. Like a well, you're taking water from a well, but you're pretty sure that it's going to rain.
Right.
And so I can continue to take water, right? That's the argument, right? In terms of probability based. They're also high on optionality, which means that they're fine with a more variable income approach. Some years will be good, some years may not be so good, but I have the option to switch things around as needed. You're not married to something, and so you can like maneuver yourself around it. And so the total return approach is you have an investment portfolio, usually stocks and bonds, and you're going to take what you deem to be a sustainable withdrawal rate from that. And sustainable means that I can do it year after year without depleting that portfolio because the markets will go up, so it will replenish whatever I've taken it. Time segmentation, otherwise known as bucketing. What you're doing there is think about you have jars. And so you're putting money in jars for this is my 1 year spending, my 2 year spending, etc. And you go out however many years. And the idea there is that you have this income that's going to come from those to fund essential expenses. While that's happening, your reserve assets are invested in the market, and hopefully over the long term, let's say 5+ years, they'll go up, etc. All right. And so there, what you're doing is there's a safety first component to it because what's in the jars is being managed usually by bonds, something along those lines. It could be MYGAs, it could be multi-year, guaranteed annuities. There's many ways to do it, but the point is that you have safe money. Being that we're on safe money radio, you have safe money for this temporal, short-term, essential expenses that you're going to need, right? And so that's the safety first part of it. The optionality part of it is that maybe you go out 3 years, 4 years, but when that time is done and you need to replenish those jars, you need, maybe the market didn't perform as well as you wanted to. Maybe it did, but you have to be flexible.
And I know we throw terms out a lot, and I have to kind of slow down and realize, hey, the listeners, what in the world, especially when it comes to annuities, I'll say this all the time. There are MYGAs, SPIAs, DIAs, fixed indexed, variable, QLACs. Like, what in the world is all that? Well, Alex just said MYGA. Here's a great example of the bucket strategy and the jars. You might purchase a MYGA, a multi-year guaranteed annuity. That's an insurance company's version of a CD at a bank, only it's insured. It's a contract. So you might, in that jar, we're just going to pull number out of the air, $100,000 in there. And right now, in 2024, about 5%. You can get a 3 or 4 or 5 year MYGA for about 5%. No, that's a guaranteed rate of return on that, tax deferred, no 1099 annually like a CD. While over here in your other buckets, you can take on more risk because you've got your guarantee and your basis cover. So that would just be one of many examples.